Hello, you lovely lot. You're in for an absolute treat today because I'm doing an episode you've all been calling out for ages. And that is how to survive the festive season as a newly sober person. Joining me in the studio today is my friend Millie Mackintosh, who, like me, had to give up drinking because she was such a bad drunk. Her words, not mine. Together, we're sharing our top tips for getting to New Year without drowning yourself in booze.
It did feel hard at the beginning, and I definitely had moments where I thought, I wish I could drink. Over time, it does definitely get easier, but recognizing the small wins, I think, is really important, especially early on. I think you need to really be kind to yourself and recognize that you did something difficult and give yourself a pat on the back.
My chat with Millie coming up right after this. Millie Mackintosh. I was going to say welcome to the Life of Bryony, but you've already been on. In fact, you were such a popular guest back at the beginning of the Life of Bryony that I've asked you to come back. So welcome back to the Life of Bryony.
Thank you. And this is a gorgeous new studio. We weren't in here last time.
No, we were basically in a broom cupboard, weren't we?
But we had fun.
We had a lot of fun. And I want us to have fun today. And I wanted to get you in because I desperately want to do an episode on, it's very specifically on how to navigate the festive season while sober without drinking, because I know that a lot of listeners of the Life of Bryony, they might describe themselves as alcoholics. They might not, but they might be sober curious. They might be desperate not to have another Christmas and New Year just permanently hungover. And so I wanted to do a practical episode that gives people tips to be able to get through this incredibly social period without having to drink all the Baileys or any of the Baileys.
Oh my God, I just had a flashback.
Okay, well, can we start with our flashbacks? Because I just wanted flashbacks, the ghosts of Christmas past before we got sober. Yeah. So you are now what, 4?
So it's nearly 3.5 years.
3.5 years sober.
So 4 years ago was my last drunk Christmas.
Do you remember much of it?
So I was thinking about this because when you asked me to come on, I was thinking, okay, what my last Christmas drinking was like. And I had a 1-month-old baby.
Wow.
Aurelia was born in the middle of November. So literally she was, about 5 weeks old. And I was hosting.
Of course.
Because, of course, I was like, yeah, of course I'll host with a 1-year-old and a 5-week-old. And it was a bit of a disaster. I ended up so drunk by about 5-6 p.m. that I was put to bed like a sobbing mess. And I remember just the kind of anxiety of the kind of hosting, being so overtired, but then also just being like, I've got to make it perfect because I'm such a perfectionist and everything had to be over the top, from the decorations to just, overspending on the most ridiculous ingredients I could find. Just wanted to make it perfect and wanted to make it really special for the girls, even though obviously they wouldn't remember it.
Yeah.
And didn't really understand what Christmas was yet. But I just had this picture perfect idea of how I wanted Christmas to be. And I remember doing the cooking in the morning, starting drinking in the morning, a glass of champagne, which is kind of a tradition that I always had with my mum, was drinking in the morning.
Well, this is the thing. Christmas is the one time where you can hide a drinking problem in plain sight, right?
Yeah. So it was a boozy Christmas Eve dinner, waking up a bit hungover on Christmas Day, which has always been something I remember because you get a bit overexcited on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that's the peak.
Yeah, overcook it. Wake up on Christmas morning, you're like, oh God. But you wake up and start drinking after breakfast, slowly sipping away while you're cooking, starting to feel quite merry. Then kind of the big lunch. Then I kind of remember just, being kind of trying to enjoy it, having wine. My parents loved their wine. We had kind of all these different wines with the different courses. And then I kind of got stuck into the spirit. I think I started drinking gin and tonics. And I I think the kids must have been having a nap or gone to bed. We put on, I can't remember what movie it was. It was some kind of disaster movie. It was kind of like one of those like apocalyptic movies.
Die Hard, maybe? That's a real, people love that at Christmas.
It was something like that. And I must have been watching it and I had like double vision.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to watch this movie. I can see like 2 of everything.
You're trying to watch The End of the World.
Yeah, I'm watching The End of the World and I just was like so overwhelmed. But like by how drunk I was and just like the emotion of, I think like suddenly I was like, oh my God, what if the world ended? And, you know, I just was like sobbing because the film like obviously triggered something. And then I just kind of had to be put to bed. And that was the end of my Christmas day. So that's definitely not a good memory. It just kind of was a bit sad.
Yeah. That sort of sadness of like, I want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
And then drinking yourself basically to sleep by the time the Queen's speech has come around.
And then waking up on like Boxing Day and being like embarrassed and thinking, oh God, my parents, must think that, do they think I've got a problem? And then no one talked about it. And then
for me, Christmas, Christmas actually itself, by that point, I was usually too exhausted from like a prolonged Christmas of like festive
December of
drinking. And I always remember that because I drank so much, I was known as the party girl. And at the beginning of December, people would suddenly come out of the woodwork and be like, Bryony, let's go partying or let's,
festive night out, festive drinks.
Night out. And I'd be like, where were you all the other months of the year when I needed you? And I always used to call December Amateurs Month because it was like people came out and they drank the way I drank the whole year. But I sort of had this, it was like, but it was still accelerated for me because I had an excuse. I had like a reason to drink and take drugs, in my case, excessively. And I do remember one Christmas festive period where I realized, it was like Christmas Eve, and I realized I had drunk and taken drugs every night for 18 nights on the trot. Oh my God. Right? And I had done no Christmas shopping.
It's amazing you're alive.
It was really, Millie, really amazing I'm alive because it was like I hadn't slept for a prolonged period, but it was all this festivity. And I remember it was Christmas Eve and I hadn't bought any Christmas shopping.
Oh my God.
It was like I was in my late 20s, so it was kind of, no one was expecting much from me. I was single, I didn't have kids or anything. But I remember going to Oxford Street on Christmas Eve to go and suddenly get all of the Christmas presents. And I remember standing on like the corner of Regent Street, and it was like near Liberty's, although I wasn't shopping at Liberty's because I couldn't afford it. And I remember thinking, I'm about to die. I realised now I was having like a panic attack, but I thought I was having a stroke. And there was the St. John's ambulance because they obviously were there because large crowds, Christmas Eve, whatever. And I remember thinking, do I need to go to the St. John's ambulance and tell them that I'm about to die? I don't know what I thought. I was having a stroke.
No, but it's a panic attack. You just feel like you're dying.
Yeah. And then I remember like buying the presents, going home, going to bed really early on Christmas Eve. And then it was Christmas Day and I started all over again, But then the amount of things like New Year's Eves as well, where that week between Christmas and New Year, where like Twixmas, as we call it now, nothing was happening, and it was like no one was really at work, and again it was just an excuse
I find that
to drink.
Period really difficult because, and I still find it hard,
really,
because there isn't any structure. So like ADHD, I like a routine. Yeah. Now I've got kids as well, and I don't have childcare in that period. They're not going to school. It can feel quite intense. But I mean, going back historically, when I didn't have a family, that time was massive parties, or like either like house parties or basically one long sesh between Christmas and New Year. And I'm a bit kind of like, what do I do in that time? But I'm finding I'm going to fill it with really positive things and be really present and actually take it as time to rest, as much as you can rest when you've got a 3 and a 5-year-old at home. But I think, to be honest, for me, that time is still quite difficult. And I don't know if I've if I'm really looking forward to it, if I'm completely honest.
But I think that's really important, because if someone's listening and they are navigating their first Christmas or festive period without a drink, I think it's really important to be honest about how hard it can be. It's hard, but I think the key thing to remember is it's not as hard as the alternative.
Oh, 100%.
Which is carrying on in this kind of Groundhog Day existence of like feeling awful, waking up.
Feeling awful, doing like, waking up each morning and just being like, oh, there's all this leftover booze in the house. And, you know, having kind of, you don't have to get up and go to work. So you're just, drinking day after day after day with like a constant hangover.
My first sober Christmas was in 2017, and I'd literally come out of rehab a week before. And I remember sitting in the, towards the end of rehab, they kind of are making sure that you're okay to leave and all of that. So to be coming out of rehab at Christmas and going back into like the family unit was obviously something they were like, are you prepared?
I think a lot of people must relapse at Christmas because of the family dynamics. Like your family is going to trigger you more than anyone else. Right?
Well, the great saying is your family know how to press your buttons because they installed them. Isn't that good?
So good. That's so true.
So I always remember this great counselor saying to me, I was like, what's your advice? Because with the best will in the world, I have no idea how to cope with Christmas, back out there without a drink. And he said, smile and wave. And I said, what? And he said, when you're with your family, just smile and wave like the Queen, just rise above it. He was like, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? Every time they say something that annoys you, just ask yourself, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right?
That is so good.
Yeah. And I was like, I want to be both. And he was like, you can't be both, Bryony. You can only be one.
Of course
you can only be happy or you can only be right. And actually, and I've said this many times in podcasts and things, but actually that is one of the best pieces of advice for life generally, not just for people listening who are trying to get through Christmas sober. But I remember thinking, okay, like I can make a choice. I have a choice whether to be triggered by something my mum says or some annoying way my sister or my brother is. And, I've really held on to that. It's like, take a deep breath. You can do this for one day. You don't have to do this every day of the year. You can do this for one day. And actually, I wanted to get onto your book, Bad Drunk, because I do genuinely think, Millie, this is one of the most helpful books in terms of practical tips for the beginning of your sober journey, right? Because there's a lot of like quit lit out there, my book included, which is all about the feelings, the grossness. And you do go into that, and if anyone hasn't listened to the podcast that Millie and I did back at the beginning of the year, please do go listen to it, because a lot of Millie's stories, she very bravely shares her experiences of that there. But this is also, and what we didn't so much get onto in that episode, which I really want to get to the kind of nub of here, there is so much practical advice. I mean, you wrote it in conjunction with Dr. Ellie Cannon. So there's a lot of like professional advice from her there. But you're really good at offering up tips. And there's a chapter in there which is all about, what about my social life? What about my social life? And I just wanted to read back to you.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yes.
Something you said, which I think is going to chime with a lot of people listening who might be trying to navigate or trying to.
It's such a tricky time of year for people, and for anyone at any point of the year when you decide to stop drinking. Just the start feels really hard socializing.
To make that choice to be alcohol free, for whatever reason. It could be that you think you've got a problem. Reason. It could be because you want to feel better. It could be because all sorts of reasons. But you're right. Looking back, those first few months of sobriety did feel bleak at times. I wasn't always clear-headed, sparkly-eyed, and it wasn't always rainbows and roses. I didn't think I'd ever dance again. I didn't think I'd ever be able to go out to a party and have fun again. I couldn't work out how I was going to socialize without a glass of Dutch courage in my hand. I knew I didn't need to have a drink to be around my loved ones, but the thought of going into a bigger social situation seemed really scary. Mm-hmm. And I think that is going to chime with a lot of people.
Yeah, Christmas parties. Yeah. I think a lot of people have work things that they feel pressured to drink at. there's suddenly your calendar's filling up from kind of November onwards.
Yeah.
At this time of year. So it's definitely a hard time for people who are navigating, the start of an alcohol-free journey. But we've got tips.
God, do you have tips, Millie? Do you have tips? Now, this is a really helpful tip that I didn't know of. Because in my mind, everyone drinks. Just everyone drinks. Everyone drinks but me and you, basically. And actually, fun fact presented in your book by Dr. Ellie Cannon is that 1/5 of the adult population, that's 20% of the adult population, don't drink at all. They just don't drink.
It just never really occurred to me also that people didn't drink like I drank.
Yeah. No, lots of people don't drink like we drank.
Like people can actually just have like one drink or just have a few sips and just like nurse one drink all evening.
Oh my God. I never understood the people at Christmas parties who would like show up like the office Christmas party, and they would have one drink and they would leave, and that would be that. Whereas I would be like several bottles in. I probably would have got a bag of Coke. Sorry, this is just me being honest. I would be trying to get off with my boss. I would end up sleeping with someone totally inappropriate. I mean, this honestly, now as I'm talking about it, and I don't mean to be glib or like light about it because it wasn't actually particularly funny, but the dark situations I found myself in at this time of year. And there were,
because you do kind of just take things that bit further. Yeah. Like I got alcohol poisoning after one like festive girls' night out.
Really?
Yeah, I thought I was going to die.
What happened?
I drank so many different drinks. Like it was literally like, can I drink the whole cocktail menu? I think there's a picture of me where I'm literally like, got my arms around about 10 different cocktails. And like they weren't all mine, but it was like jumping from one spirit to another and just so many drinks, and I just could not handle it. I remember just throwing up for like days and days, not being able to get out of bed, just literally being like Googling, can you die from a hangover? And just, feeling so poisoned.
Oh my God. I remember once getting the shakes for the first time after a Christmas party the next morning at work, being in the lift and thinking that is scary. Yeah. Literally delirium tremors.
And waking up and just feeling like you're so weak, and it's like you've got to just get some sugar into you because you're just like so hungover that you feel like you're going to die.
Okay, so let's talk about the alternative.
Okay, the alternative.
So let's talk about the world where, because if you're listening, you're thinking, oh my God. And they're like...
sorry, we need to get to the how to not do the positives.
I can now do Christmas quite happily without picking up a drink. In fact, the thought of going to a Christmas party and drinking fills me with absolute horror. I would rather saw off my own arm.
Me too.
I really would.
I had a drinking dream at the weekend. I haven't had one for ages.
They're so good. I love a drinking dream.
Such a good reminder because you wake up and you've got the fear.
Yeah, they're a good way to remind yourself of what it was like to drink without actually having to relapse.
Yeah, I wake up and I'm just like, and I feel the dread and the shame, and then it takes a few seconds and I realise it was just a dream, and I'm so relieved. Yeah. So relieved. And I'm just like, thank God.
What does Christmas look like for you now?
The best thing about it for me is waking up without regret.
Mm-hmm. God, it's priceless,
and just feeling. Waking up and being like, I don't regret anything I said yesterday. Yeah. I don't regret anything I did. And I remember everything I did.
I remember everything I did.
Remembering everything you did, not regretting it, and not waking up with the shame spiral of, who do I have to apologise to? Oh God, is there evidence?
The phone check. The extensive phone check.
Forget anxiety just thinking about it. So Christmas now, for me, it's all about making it special for the kids.
Mm-hmm. Which is what it should be.
That's what feels really important for me. It's taking some time off work, being really focused on time with the children, just time as a family, and kind of, the things that are really special to me are just, like those family moments. That's what feels important. Going to carols, doing cute festive stuff, like seeing their joy, making the house feel all festive and cozy. having kind of all the, Christmas food that feels like a treat, and just like simple stuff like cuddling on the sofa and putting on a Christmas movie and not having anywhere else to be because no one's working over that time. And that's what feels important. Trying to also not get stressed out by the kids being in the house for all of the Christmas holidays. It's normally raining like nonstop. I'm going to spend time with family. Not actually on Christmas. I'm not hosting this year. So for the first time in about 4 years, I'm not hosting.
I've never hosted Christmas.
I don't know why I've offered to host Christmas the last 4 years when I've had children under 5. So stressful.
I'm just not. No one wants to eat anything. No one wants to eat anything cooked by me, let alone a turkey. So I think that's like a genius move. Is that I've never been asked.
That
to
is
host
a genius
Christmas.
move. I kind of love the hosting because I'm such a control freak. But actually not doing it this year feels like a welcome relief. We're going out for Christmas. A Christmas lunch on Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day at the moment we've currently got 0 plans.
Sounds heaven. Can I come and join you?
Yeah, you can.
So let's talk about the festive season, Christmas party season.
Okay, yes, let's talk about how to
navigating it. So I think it's really interesting. Like first of all, the thing is that it's reminding people that you don't actually have to go to these Christmas parties.
So I think when it comes to getting through the festive season, ask yourself like what's really important. Like what if you say you get a certain amount of it, say you get 10 invites to different things, really think about, okay, do I have to be there? Like how's it going to feel if I don't go? Like who am I going to be letting down? Because to be honest, no one actually really cares. I know we think that people will care so much if we're not there, but people really don't care. I mean, it's different. If say you're like best friends getting married and it's, during the festive period, you need to be there. But if being around certain people or going, you're kind of thinking, God, I'm definitely going to drink if I go to that because I just couldn't get through it without drinking. Don't go.
Yeah.
Like give yourself permission to not go. Be like,
I would go further. Like a close friend, I feel, should be able to support you through these dark times. And so if I was getting married and a close friend said to me, I'm just getting sober, I don't think I can come, I would probably be kind of okay with it. But I can understand why if you weren't. But, maybe it's about like, I think you say like, do you have to go? And if you do have to go, then you got to make a plan.
Mate, it's so crucial. It's all about the plan. The plan is, okay, arrive early, make sure you've eaten something before.
Oh my God, so crucial. Do not turn up to a party.
Do not turn up hungry.
On an empty stomach. But also remember, this is the other thing, the rule of thumb. You say if you get 10 invitations, work out which ones you have to go to and only go to them. Don't go to them all. Because I've got lots of really useful, slightly annoying sayings from
No, I love your sayings.
Sober,
I love your sayings.
Which is that I remember someone saying to me in my early days, like I remember being like, do I have to go to this work thing at a pub? And my friend was like, no, don't go to pubs, don't go to wet places.
So true.
Because it's like if you hang around at a barber's for long enough,
you're going to get a haircut,
right? And this is true. So it's like be really, really, you say in the book, okay, be realistic about what you can handle, right? And you say work out the 5 hellos you have to do if it's a work environment, and then leave.
Yeah. then you don't have the guilt of like, oh, I didn't go, I should have gone. It would have been good if I showed my face. Just go and show your face. Have one soft drink, so you're holding something in your hand. Bring your own like soft drink or mocktail of choice. There's so many good alternatives now. If you feel awkward without, holding something, just whatever, just get water in a champagne glass if you don't want people to know you're not drinking. Say your hellos and then just don't say goodbye and just leave.
Yeah, the not saying goodbye is the really revelation.
Because that's when you feel like people might be like, oh, come on, stay for a bit.
Yeah.
And you just, if you need to like excuse yourself, say you're going to the bathroom and then just leave.
Yeah. What I hadn't thought about was how actually people that are getting on it, they don't, with the best will in the world, they don't want us there. They don't
so
want
true.
sober
No, 'cause they're going to
people.
make you all feel. You're just going to make them feel uncomfortable about how much they're drinking.
It's that gave me the greatest relief, was knowing that they weren't going to miss me, and they were actually going to be grateful I wasn't there. I went to a party recently and I was having a really good time, and it was really nice. But then I got to the point of the night where people definitely started to repeat themselves. And I was like, and that's the point. You say it in Bad Drunk. That was the point where I have to leave without kind of saying goodbye. And but in the taxi, in the Uber home, I started fantasizing about this night out that I was going to have with my friends who drank, and I was going to go dancing with them to Soho or something. And the next morning, my friend Ed, he messaged and he was like, it was really nice to see you. And I was like, I had this whole fantasy about like going on with you, because I could tell he was getting stuck in. And he was like, no. He said, no sober people after 9 p.m. We don't want you and your terrifying ability to remember. And
like that's so good.
And he meant it like lovingly, but he was like, no, don't, no, you're, like,
it's so true.
And I think sort of remembering that is like, again, we can over egg our own importance with the best will in the world that either that people are going to be really upset. I think also if you happen to be the kind of person who drinks too much, right? Like me or you, whether you describe yourself as an alcoholic or just someone who doesn't get on with drinking.
A bad drunk.
A bad drunk, exactly, which is the best title for a book ever, I still maintain. If you are that kind of person, the chances are you're also going to be the kind of person who feels things very strongly.
Yes, very like highly sensitive person.
Highly sensitive, overthinks things. So you may get into a spiral that by turning down an invitation or not going, people are going to hate you. They're going to think that you're awful.
Yeah.
And the reality is most people are not going to notice.
So true.
And the other
people
thing
are much more concerned with themselves.
Yeah. And the other thing is that if someone is upset that you're not coming to something, a Christmas party, let's put the idea of your best friend getting married out of the window and just say this is a bog standard Christmas party, and your friend is throwing it, and you tell them that you think you have a drinking problem and you need to not drink, and so you can't go to a party, and they say, oh, come on, don't be ridiculous. Perhaps they're not the friend for you.
Definitely. It's you do really find out who your friends are.
Yeah.
When you stop drinking.
Well, it holds a mirror up to people, doesn't it?
And going back to what you were saying before with wanting to continue on your friend's night out, when I stopped drinking, I kind of had to mourn the girl that I used to be when I was drinking and be like, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be on those nights out anymore, because I think there's different types of people who don't drink for whatever various reason. And some people might still want to be dancing in the club sober and, have it staying up really late, and they're able to do that. That's amazing. I can't do that.
I don't understand people that want to be dancing in the club sober.
But I think some people just have that kind of energy. They don't need to drink to feel comfortable. They're so comfortable in themselves. Like it makes me quite jealous.
Oh no, it makes me very jealous.
I'm like, well, you can dance like sober and you're confident and you don't care what people think. Like that is ultimately someone that is so comfortable in their own skin.
But I wonder, I often ask this of people who have like long sobriety. So we're talking like decades. And I'll go to an event and I'll be like, is there a point in being sober where you enjoy being out in the evening?
Okay.
And because I'm
Please tell me.
Because I don't think I've hit it yet. I dread it. And then when I'm there, I enjoy it. I have a good time.
But you get the anticipation of it.
I will think about it all day.
Yeah.
I will think about it for the weeks before. I will, and so it is also like factoring that in. And that might be the case for people, whether they're drinking, whether they have an alcohol problem or not.
Yeah, it's a social anxiety thing.
Yeah. I mean, sober dancing is like, I like dancing, but I don't know as well if I want to be in a nightclub anymore.
Yeah.
Like
it doesn't feel like the environment I want to be in.
No, that ship has sailed. Like, I don't think I ever wanted to be in nightclubs in the first place. And maybe that was why I drank so much.
Yeah.
So I could feel like I did want to be there.
But it wouldn't have been fun if you were sober in the club.
No, but there are people who genuinely talk about like, I had this amazing night and we didn't drink and we just danced and the music filled our bodies. And I'm like, I can't.
It gets to 9
that.
p.m. and I'm like, I need to be in bed because this is my bedtime and my aura ring is telling me that this is my ideal like bedtime is at this time. And I need
What is your ideal bedtime, Millie?
It's 9 p.m.
Is it? Okay.
Asleep by 9.
Asleep by 9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so hang on. So that means getting into bed at what time? 7:45?
No, maybe like I fall asleep quite quickly, maybe like 8:30, 8:45.
Okay. Oh my God, we should live together.
Oh my God, please.
Because last night I was in bed at... I feel
No,
embarrassing.
don't tell me. I love
I'm
it.
not sure we are the
I love
people
it.
to be creating this podcast about socializing sober.
I know.
Because
I don't know. My tips on socializing sober are like stay home and watch Netflix with a hot chocolate and go to bed by 9 p.m.
That's
what I'd rather be doing.
Oh, me too.
I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, I love parties and I'll be there it depends on the party, but I do still find it hard because the social anxiety hasn't just disappeared.
Yeah,
it's a lot more obvious.
And that's really important thing to learn. But as you say in Bad Drunk, the thing is that you have to go through that period. You have to do that first festive period to understand, because you're learning who you are suddenly. You're learning.
You meet yourself for the first time when you get sober.
Yeah, and it's hard. And so, you have to go through a couple of those festive periods and maybe you'll slip up and maybe you will end up drinking, go easy on yourself for help. You're trying to make a change. It's not easy. If it was easy, we wouldn't be sitting here having to make podcasts or write books about it, right? There wouldn't be rehabs. There wouldn't be 12-step programs like AA. Do you know what I mean? It's hard. So, but you do have to go through that to accept that actually, oh my God, maybe alcohol was serving a purpose, which was enabling me to feel like the person I thought I had to be. Mm-hmm. And now I'm now at a stage, I don't know about you, where I feel really grateful towards alcohol. I don't hate it. I don't resent it. I don't see people drinking and think, ugh. I just think, oh, okay, whatever. Like, I don't blame big alcohol for me being an addict or an alcoholic. I actually look at alcohol and think, thank God that existed, because I had no way of being normal in the world. Yeah. It was the solution for me for a very,
we use it like medicine.
Yeah, it was medicine until it became a problem in and of itself. Okay. And then, so I'm not saying to people, go out and drink. I'm just saying that this is a very easy way to feel human in our society. But now I'm genuinely of the position where I just am like, I don't think I ever really enjoyed going to parties. I never felt comfortable.
No,
and so I had to drink.
And the more uncomfortable I would feel, the more likely I would be to get blackout drunk.
Yeah. Blackout drunk. That realization you mentioned earlier, that it never occurred to you that people didn't drink the way that you drank.
I mean, I'd grown up with like parents that drank moderately and, I never really saw them drunk. So it wasn't like I had seen people drink responsibly, but I felt maybe like people my age, it kind of didn't occur to me that other young people weren't all drinking to blackout every weekend.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, I was kind of like, is this normal? Like, is it normal to, have one and suddenly just want to consume all the alcohol in the world?
Yeah.
Is it normal to wake up and have a panic attack and feel like the only thing that's going to help is to, take a sedative or start drinking again, or both? Is it normal? Yeah. Is it normal to just wake up with that shame and regret? Like, it's just, it crushes you.
It really does. So here's my other tip for the person who really wishes that they could just have one. And each Christmas season or each party they go, maybe tonight will be the night where I drink moderately.
Oh, the amount of times I said that to myself.
Yeah,
It's the lies we want to believe.
Yeah, magically I'll become a normal drinker. I do genuinely believe you either can or you can't. And my tip to you would be just accept that if you can't drink moderately by the time you're, in your mid-30s or a parent or whatever, then the chances are that's not something that's in your gift. And that's okay. Okay.
So true.
And it's genuinely easier to have no drinks than one. It's so much easier. So if you have
that's why I have to have none.
Yeah. I can't just have one.
No.
And also, if they came up with a drug and were like, oh, here's this drug and it'll make you drink moderately, I'd be like, I don't want it. Because what I wanted was oblivion every time I drank, even though I thought I want. The idea of one or two now it still horrifies me when I see people at parties or dinners and they have one or two and I'm like, why would you bother?
I have this one friend, she's one of my best friends, and she just will just honestly have one drink the entire night and she just holds it. And occasionally she sips it. And when I was drinking, I used to be like, come on, have another one. And pressure her to drink more so that I would feel okay about the fact that I'd drunk 3 margaritas in the space of half an hour. And she was still on, sipping one glass of champagne. I'd be like, how do you do that? And she honestly drinks like that. She might have 1 or 2 drinks the entire night and she just can kind of just have it in her hand and not down it. It used to really confuse me. I was like, how, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, mysteries.
What's wrong with me?
Okay, so if you are
what I should have been
listening
thinking.
or watching and that you relate to that, we're going to give you some tips now, okay?
Yes.
On what to do during the festive season. So if you do have to go to a party, right?
Yes.
So
okay, you've decided it's important. You have to go. Eat before you go.
Yeah.
Have a sober buddy. So
That's
either somebody you're going with, or if you're not going with them, somebody that you can run to the bathroom and message. You can message them on the way. You can message them when you're there. You can message them when you are on your way home. And it's somebody that will hold you accountable.
I think that's really important. And again, knowing that it doesn't have to be someone at the party.
They don't have to be at the party. If it would obviously be great if you were going with a wingman that also wasn't drinking. You could even be going with a friend that was drinking but knew that you didn't want to and wanted their support, but it was obviously be more ideal if they were also sober and understood how you felt. But it definitely can be someone that you can message, just be messaging throughout just for moral support. Eat before you go, have someone to support you, have a plan. If I start to feel tempted, I am going to leave, give yourself permission. If I feel like I'm going to pick up a drink, I will just walk out and get myself home. What would my other tips be? I think this is really important. Decide what you're going to drink that night that's non-alcoholic. And if you don't think they're going to serve anything that you want to drink, bring your own alcohol-free options. Because I think having something that you enjoy drinking that's non-alcoholic really helps. For me, I like to still feel like I've got something in my hand, whether it's, in a cocktail glass. I don't want to drink alternatives that taste like alcohol.
No, me neither.
I don't want to be reminded of alcohol, but I still want a nice drink that feels like, I'm celebrating. So that might be, there's a really great brand called 3 Spirit that do these, they're functional non-alcoholic spirits. So they one of them is called Social Elixir, and it kind of gives you energy and boosts your mood. So it's got different botanicals in it. And you can have it with tonic or, a Trip are great as well because they've got some of them have got CBD in, or they've got magnesium in, or they make you feel a bit more chilled. So if you've got social anxiety and you're drinking something that just takes the edge off that.
When I got sober in the old days, when I got sober 8.5 years ago, I remember going to Christmas and a Christmas party, and all that was really on offer was elderflower cordial.
Yeah, oh God, elderflower.
And I'd be like, I'm a recovering alcoholic, not a fucking wood sprite. And I was like, I can't drink any more elderflower cordial. But so it has come a long way. But I'm like you, I'm not like you in that I am like you in that I don't want to drink a non-alcoholic beer or a non-alcoholic wine, because that just lights something up in me that reminds me of drinking and I did have this one experience where I drank like 5 non-alcoholic beers in an hour, and I was like, okay, where does this go next? And I was like, where's the buzz? Like, there's no buzz, Bryony, because it's got
but the
no
taste
alcohol.
reminded you of the buzz.
And I felt like the next step was to go and pick up an alcoholic beer. But each to their own. Loads of people have different things, and at the very beginning, maybe it is helpful to hold that. But I find it all, like, even the botanicals and stuff.
Really?
I'm just a water person.
Really?
Yeah. I think you're right about the food. Like, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'll pre-eat because I can't, if I'm hangry.
Yeah. Have snacks in your bag as well.
Yeah. Another really helpful acronym in your early days of sobriety is HALT. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. And I think we can add hormonal onto that as women. I think that's quite important. All of these things are going to make you more likely to pick up a drink.
Yeah, no, but you've got all of them at once.
As we sometimes do.
As we sometimes do, especially as like parents as well. You just got to be kind to yourself and be like, can I handle going, or what can I do that's going to, okay, if I'm lonely, can I call a friend or have a therapy session? If I'm tired, can I just have a 20-minute power nap? If I'm hungry, eat something, what was the other one? If I'm hormonal, just scream into a pillow.
So, okay, what if we're at a party, right, Millie, and the fact we're not drinking triggers someone else?
Which it will.
It will, and it does.
It's a given.
Yeah. What do you say when people ask you, why aren't you drinking?
So it depends. Okay, I'd like to kind of read the person a little bit.
Okay. Do you want me to do it? Do you want me to role play a series of situations?
I quite like making people uncomfortable.
Oh, me too. What do you say?
I might just be like, well, I've got a drinking problem.
Yeah, that's my favourite.
That just be like, well, if I do have a drink, then I might, burn my entire life to the ground tonight.
Yeah.
Just be like,
and do people?
Or a good one is like, no offense, but if I was going to relapse, it wouldn't be with you.
That's a good one. That's
like
really good
if
one.
I was going to relapse, like I would not waste it with you.
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste a relapse on this evening.
No.
Yeah, I definitely, when people ask me, I'm like, it's because I'm an alcoholic. They're like, why don't you drink? I'm like, because I'm an alcoholic.
And you say it like really serious face.
Yeah.
And just be like, yeah. And it kind of, then people are either like, oh, okay. And then like, it really starts a conversation and they might like start have loads to say about it. And it's a positive conversation, or they feel super awkward and that you can just tell they want to like run as far away from you as possible. Yeah. And that's also fine with me.
It is. But what if if you are worried about that, because I do hear this a lot from people who go, but what if people ask me? What do I say?
It's like the what if and like caring what people think, which I did used to care so much. What will people think if they think I've got a drinking problem? Now I just don't fucking care.
Yeah, but I think also at the beginning you can say whatever you want.
At the beginning, I wasn't ready to tell people.
But you can, and like it's okay.
Yes, and you don't have to tell anyone. It's no one's business.
It's no one's business but your own.
If it makes you feel more comfortable to say, oh, I'm on antibiotics, or yeah, I'm on medication that doesn't mix with alcohol, or I'm doing a detox, or whatever. Like you can have a list of things you can say that if that makes you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, I'm doing a detox of dickhead people who ask me why I'm not drinking, and you've just not passed the test. You are being detoxed from my life.
I have had someone before, be like, oh, you're not still doing that. You're not still doing that sober thing, are you? Come on, like come on, have a drink with me. Like, come on, and you're just like, wow, it makes people so uncomfortable.
It does, yeah.
And you just have to really think like, okay, like what? This isn't about me. This is, you are a mirror to that person. And I have felt that pressure, like a kind of like not as accepted. Now I'm not a party girl, and maybe I'm not wanted as much at the party.
I get that, and I hear that, but I think as well there's a sort of sense of belonging, though, that if you cycle back and take yourself out of that party And you realise where you belong and who you belong with. And that is worth so much more
So
than
true.
the sense of like
feeling like you belonged at that party and you were the wildest person there and had the most fun.
And I think that thing where you say in the book about I couldn't work out how I was going to socialise without a glass of Dutch courage in my hand, you know. I was thinking like drinking gives you Dutch courage, but I've always said being sober makes you properly brave, you know, and it gives you something that is, it's absolutely wild at times. It's so, it can be hard, you know.
Because you feel everything. You're not numbing.
Yeah, and having to get through like hard things because life keeps on lifing.
Oh, it really does. It really does.
You know, you have to get through people dying, people getting ill, all sorts of things. And it's like, to me, it blows my mind that those kind of things can happen. And I don't ever think about picking up a drink anymore. I don't ever think about it. I don't, you know, my first response isn't, I wish I could drink. It might be, I wish I could have a cigarette, but it's not ever that. And that is amazing. And that is to say to anyone listening who thinks that it's utterly
impossible,
that one day at a time, it is absolutely doable.
It did feel hard at the beginning. And I definitely had moments where I thought, I wish I could drink because this is so uncomfortable. But I'd say I'm getting there now. Like I don't look at alcohol. I don't want to drink it. But sometimes I want to ease the discomfort that I'm feeling.
Yeah. So let's also talk about playing the tape forward.
Yes.
And this is a nice important little trick for anyone who is struggling. So it's not just about how to get through the night. It's focusing on how you're going to feel the next day.
If you feel tempted to drink and you really don't want to, and you're triggered, or someone's trying to push you to have a drink, or you think you're going to break, you're like, okay, I'm so close to just picking up that one drink, maybe one would be okay. Just fast forward to the next day. And the scenario, two different scenarios, one when you drink and one when you don't, and think about how you're going to feel.
Yeah, you do this make a list, almost like a kind of gratitude list, in like a preemptive gratitude list, where you go, you imagine having your morning coffee and sitting there. Let's get into this right now. Let's do this, right?
So you wake up early, nice quiet house. You remember how you got home. There's no shame or regret. You go downstairs, you make yourself your morning coffee, you sit in peace and enjoy it, and you feel really proud of yourself. And you're like, I went to that party, it was difficult for me, but I did it. And you just have that clarity and peace of mind that you put yourself first. And it is really that like feeling proud. I think you need to really be kind to yourself and recognize that you did something difficult, and like give yourself a pat on the back. Be like, high five yourself. Like high five yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm fucking awesome. I just did that.
Yeah.
And over time, it does definitely get easier. But recognizing the small wins, I think, is really important, especially early on. Even if you only went to the event for like 10, 15 minutes, like still recognize that as a win.
There are also apps that will tot up how much money you saved by not drinking.
That's a good one.
And that might be a good one to do over December, because...
And then go and buy yourself something.
Yeah,
nice
get yourself
reward.
a Christmas present at the end of it. I think that's rewarding yourself, because alcohol is a reward. That's
how we see it.
It's how we see it. So you can't, just stopping drinking it doesn't stop you needing that reward.
Yeah.
Like I definitely think that when the first couple of times I tried to get sober, I thought that by just stopping drinking, the world would get better, because alcohol was the problem,
I thought that as well at the beginning.
And it was a real shock when actually life felt worse, because alcohol wasn't the problem, I was. And I don't mean that in a shaming way. I'm not shaming myself.
Yeah.
I'm not like, but I'm just saying that alcohol was how I soothed myself. It was how I made myself feel safe, even if through drinking I was getting myself into incredibly dangerous situations. Like just sitting here talking to you, Millie, I've remembered like a New Year's Eve I woke up, when talking about the festive season as a whole, a New Year's Eve where the next day I came to, and I remember I had like boot prints on my knickers, you know, and I had like no recollection of what had happened or where I'd been. And this is, you know, serious, terrifying stuff. And now if I think about the alternative, which is that like, I don't even wait till midnight on New Year's Eve anymore.
Nor do I.
We're in bed at 8:45.
Oh my God, I get and I'm like literally Scrooge, who wakes up and is like, can they just turn the fireworks down a bit? They're too loud. Everyone be quiet.
Yeah.
You're disturbing my 8 hours.
Yeah. But like for me, it's that joy of waking up at like 7:30 in the morning on New Year's Day and being like, I'm not hungover.
Yeah.
You know?
I love New Year's Day now because it's
Me
like,
too.
you're like, yeah, I've kind of got through the festive period. It's the start of January and I'd like kind of just, you know, getting out in nature, going, you know, doing something with going for a nice walk, going out for a nice lunch and actually being present and not just wanting the day to be over because you're so hungover.
Yeah. And not feeling like January is this kind of punishing time where you have to repent for all of the sins that took place over Christmas. You'll be like, no, I was good to myself.
It's such a different feeling. Like, I think, what did I do last New Year's Day? I was like, I want to start doing more yoga.
Yeah.
So I went to a like 90-minute yoga class. I was like, this is how I want to feel, like, you know, calm and grounded and doing, you know, looking after myself.
Yeah. I can't remember what I did this New Year's Day. Oh, I was away on holiday. So I was holidaying. But I've had New Year's Days where I've gone to AA meetings, lovely, where I've been in Cornwall and I've ended up dragging everyone into the sea for a cold water swim.
Lovely.
Walks, roasts, like all the good stuff. And that is what I think.
The wholesome, cozy family stuff.
Yeah. And if you don't have a family and if you're single, you might think, but I need to do this stuff.
But you can go and do something in a group somewhere. You can still socialize. You can still find your people.
And that's the key. You are going to find your people.
And the connections I've made with people since I stopped drinking have been so much deeper. And I really realized with friendships, it's not about who you've known the longest.
Yeah. No.
It's really not. And it's actually makes things a lot clearer. And like new people have come into my life that I maybe haven't even known that long, but straight away,
you
just feel in there a bit like actually how I feel with you. It's like they just understand you.
Yeah.
And straight away there's that deep connection where you feel like you could just tell them your whole life story and they'd just get it.
Do you know what? That's just reminded me of what I did on New Year's Day this year, because I feel that with you as well, Millie. And we have a sober friend in common and we were both in the same place on holiday in New Year this year. And do you know what we did? We got up, we met and we ran 11K together. I
love that.
11 kilometres and we met at
an amazing way to start the new year.
7:30 in the morning.
Amazing.
I mean, and you're starting on a high. Yeah. And if you're listening and you're thinking, you guys are so insufferably smug, I cannot bear it. Listen, honey, come January the 1st, that's going to be you. And I cannot wait to welcome you to the motherfucking club.
And I will add to that, don't wait. If you're listening to this, don't wait till the start. Don't wait till the 1st of January to stop drinking.
No.
The amount of times I was like, I'll start after that wedding or after that hen or after summer because it's just too difficult to stop in summer. No, like don't waste another hungover weekend. Like don't just like start today. Start now. It doesn't have to be January the 1st.
The power is in the present, guys. You can do this. If Millie and I can do it, anyone can.
Yeah.
And if you want a little bit of hand-holding along the way, Bad Drunk is out now. It will be out in paperback at the beginning of January. Millie Mackintosh, thank you for coming back on the Life of Bryony.
Oh,
I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
Now, I don't know about you, but I am feeling fabulously festive after that little chat with Millie. If you've got any tips on how you stay off the grog at Christmas, why not share them with me by messaging me on Instagram? You can get me at Bryony Gordon or at Life of Bryony Pod. And don't forget, Millie will be back on Friday for our special bonus episode. As ever, subscribe, follow, rate, rave about us to all of your friends, but most of all, keep being you. I'll see you next time.